Thank you, Chairman. Tulsi, you and I came into the Congress together in 2013. And Cash, you and I was serving on the Intelligence Committee when you worked on the Intelligence Committee. And John, you and I are both from Texas, and we both served together on the Intelligence Committee. The idea that this information, if it was presented to our committee, would not be classified, y'all know is a lie. That's ridiculous. I've seen things much less sensitive be presented to us with high classification. And to say that it isn't is a lie to the country.
So there is Congressman Joaquin Castro this morning speaking to FBI Director Kash Patel and Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, calling out the absolute absurdity and frankly just a blatant lie that the signal chat between our Secretary of Defense, Director of National Intelligence, National Security Advisor, and Vice President, among others, about war plans to attack the Houthis was not classified information. So to recap, inside the last 24 hours alone, we've witnessed Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth flat out deny what is clear and convincing evidence of battle plans being leaked in a signal chat to the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic. We've watched the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, and CIA Director John Ratcliffe sitting side by side in the Senate, giving jarringly different answers to a Senate committee, one willing to respond to questioning, Ratcliffe, the other largely not, Gabbard. And now we're watching Trump's national security advisor, Mike Waltz, who's supposedly responsible for this whole fiasco, give deeply unconvincing performances both in the Oval Office and on Fox News as to what happened. Just last night, Waltz and Trump completely contradict one another about who was responsible to blame for all this. It's been pretty messy, to say the least. And now American Oversight, a transparency campaign group, actually just launched legal action against Hegseth and co. last night, claiming their use of Signal's disappearing messages function is a clear breach of the Federal Records Act, which forces top officials to keep records of key meetings, something that they did not do here because of Signal's disappearing messages function. So with that, here is the clip of Trump last night in an interview with MAGA mouthpiece Newsmax saying how this all happened, directly contradicting his own national security advisor, Mike Waltz, who I'm going to show you right after.
What it was, we believe, is somebody that was on the line with permission, somebody that was with Mike Waltz, worked for Mike Waltz at a lower level, had I guess Goldberg's number or called through the app, and somehow this guy ended up on the call. Now, it wasn't classified, as I understand it. There was no classified information. There was no problem, and the attack was a tremendous success. So I can only go by what I've been told. I wasn't involved in it, but I was told by, and the other people weren't involved at all. But I feel very comfortable, actually.
And here's what Senator Chris Murphy had to say about that. Quote, FYI, this is the opposite of what Waltz said. They are lying left and right, running a bungled cover-up of a national security scandal. And now here's National Security Advisor Mike Waltz directly contradicting the president's claim that a staffer of Waltz is responsible for this in an interview with Fox News' Laura Ingraham.
So your staffer did not put his contact information. But how did it end up in your phone?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out.
Okay, but that's a pretty big problem.
That's what we've got the best technical minds, right?
That's disturbing.
And that's where, I mean, I'm sure everybody out there has had a contact where it was said one person and then a different phone number.
But you've never talked to him before, so how's the number on your phone? I mean, I'm not an expert in any of this, but it's just curious. How's the number on your phone?
Well, if you have somebody else's contact and then somehow it gets
someone
sucked
sent
in,
you that
it gets
contact.
sucked in.
Was there someone else supposed to be on the chat that wasn't on the chat that you thought was on the chat?
So the person that I thought was on there was never on there. It was this
Who
guy.
was that? What person?
Well, I'm not. Look, okay. Laura, I take responsibility. I built the group.
And now finally, you've heard Hegseth, Ratcliffe, Trump, Vance, everyone really, say that this was not classified information and that the media is blowing it out of proportion. It's pretty much par for the course for any time anyone in the Trump administration does anything wrong. Deflect, deny, blame the media, rinse and repeat. But here's Tulsi Gabbard this morning, the Director of National Intelligence, who claims that there wasn't classified information in this text thread, basically admitting that there was classified information in this signal group.
Familiar with the ODNI's classification guidance?
I'm familiar
I've
with
actually
it.
got a copy right here. If I read you a part of that guidance, I wonder if you could tell me what the level of classification indicated is. I'm reading from your classification guidance, and the criteria is information providing indication or advance warning that the U.S. or its allies are preparing an attack. Do you recall what your own guidance would suggest that be classified?
I don't have the specifics in front of me, but it would point to what was shared would fall under the DoD's classification system and the Secretary of Defense's authority.
So let me help you, because there's a very clear answer.
And what is not.
I guess you don't have it, but information providing, this is the ODNI guidance, information providing indication or advance warning that the U.S. or its allies are preparing an attack should be classified as top secret. Do you disagree with that?
I don't disagree with that. I just point out that the DoD classification guidance is separate from the ODNI's classification guidance.
Do you think it would be materially different?
Ultimately, the Secretary of Defense holds the authority to classify or declassify.
Do you think it's likely that DoD guidance is materially different from what I just read?
I haven't reviewed the DoD guidance, so I can't comment.
So there you have it, folks. The Trump administration, particularly the Secretary of Defense, the CIA director, the National Security Advisor, the president and the vice president, caught in a massive lie, caught using unsecured channels to communicate war plans and then lying about it, which, by the way, Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, was in Russia when this happened. So the Russians very likely have access to this as well, because you can hack Wi-Fi channels very easily. That's why they are not supposed to communicate war plans in a manner like this. Even for the Trump administration, a massive blunder and embarrassment. They continue to show us how grossly incompetent they are. For all the talk about DEI and personnel being unqualified, this is the most incompetent administration we have ever seen. Be sure to like, subscribe, and set notifications. Help us get to 500,000 subscribers. We are so close. With Really American, I'm Justin Horowitz.